is worse than death. And in the end, I left the people I swore to protect and lead after a terrible battle with a man enshrouded in darkness. I abandoned them, so I'm no hero." Iroh gave the man a small smile and placed a reassuring hand on his shoulder. "I believe that what you did for them was the right thing. Think about it, did you leave out of guilt, or did you leave to keep them safe? Safe." Naruto thought over the question and his actions back then. When he destroyed Yuzu in his bid to kill Sasuke, he felt immense guilt for destroying the homes of his people. But deep down, he felt as if they would be safer away from him since he was a high target back then. Even when he exiled himself to the ruins of Konoha, he fended off many attempts on his life and defended what was left of his birth home. He gave a small smile and looked to Iroh with a small fire of determination. "I left for both reasons, but the biggest one was to protect them. I may have taken away their homes, but I saved their lives in the end, and homes could always be rebuilt." His smile grew along with his determined gaze as he finished, "And I know my people survived for many years after that." Iroh nodded to him with a smile while Ty Lee and Mai smiled as well. Ty Lee because she felt the sadness coming from him be replaced with happiness, and Mai did so because seeing him so depressed didn't suit him. When she met him, he seemed like this invincible man who could handle anything, but seeing him so vulnerable when discussing what he felt were failures didn't feel right. "I'm glad I was able to help. Now, I actually came here to escort you to the test my brother set up for you." Naruto nodded and followed the man to an open arena-like area where Ozai, Zuko, Azula, and some of the citizens of the royal capital were waiting. The blonde stepped out onto the arena floor, while Iroh led Mai and Ty Lee to the stands. Ozai stood up from his seat and addressed his people. "We are gathered today to witness this man try and prove that he is our revered hero of the flame. This test of skill will have him perform the abilities that made him both feared and respected in the Age of Chaos. Now then, let us begin." Naruto turned his gaze to Mai and smirked before mouthing, "Watch closely." At her slow nod, he took a calming breath, slowly bit his thumb to draw blood, and weaved through some hand seals before slamming his bloody palm on the ground with a cry of "Kuchiyos no Jutsu." As soon as his hand touched the ground, a seal array appeared and spread out before a large plume of smoke covered the entire arena. Slowly, the smoke cleared and revealed the blonde atop a giant green toad that had a pipe in its mouth, a blue coat with the kanji 4 chief on it, and a tanto blade on its back. The toad looked around in surprise before bellowing, "What is this? Who has summoned one of the Gamma clan after so many years?" Naruto jumped down to the toad's nose and stared it down. "I did, Gamma-san." The toad narrowed its eyes at the blonde before him. "And just who are you to summon me?" "My name is Naruto Uzumaki, Sannin of Mount Mayaboku," he replied, causing the toad's eyes to widen in shock. "By Kami-sama. Why Yuri Naruto-sama? The Grand Sannin, Gamma Kichi-sama told us of your position as Sannin of the Gamma clans. We believed you had disappeared off the face of the earth for eternity, yet Gamma Kichi-sama never lost hope since your name never faded from the list. It is an honor to meet you. I am Gamma-shun, chief of the Gamma clan, but you may call me Shun for short." Naruto gave the toad a smile and replied, "I'm glad that Kichi is still alive after so long. I'll be sure to visit him sometime. In the meantime, let the others know that Naruto Uzumaki is back." The chief toad nodded and dispelled in another plume of smoke, leaving Naruto standing in the center of the arena. The spectators all had looks of shock while Iroh had a look of amazement on his face. "What's the next test?" Naruto asked with his arms crossed. "Or was that proof enough?" Ozai scowled at him before replying, "The next test is to show your mastery of your elements. First, what elements did you wield?" "My affinities were of lightning and wind natures." Ozai narrowed his eyes slightly at the mention of wind from Naruto. "Then show us your mastery of these elements," Ozai stated as the crowd sat on the edge of their seats awaiting the display of skill. Naruto shrugged before flying through hand seals while his body emitted sparks of electricity. When he formed the final seal, he released the stored-up electricity which rose up to the heavens. Raitun, Raryuden no Jutsu, Lightning Dragon. Cried the blonde as the lightning formed a serpentine dragon with crimson eyes that flew across the skies above the arena, before exploding like a firework. Naruto wasn't finished as he flew through more hand seals, and the wind picked up around him. The wind slowly took the form of an immense bird with glowing yellow eyes that covered Naruto with its wings. Futon, Josho Fushicho, Rising Phoenix. He cried as the wind-powered bird took to the skies and flapped its wings towards the ground below, causing gale-force winds to crash down on the ground below. While everyone in the stands covered their faces from the harsh winds, Naruto stood calm and steady, as if he had experienced winds like this every day. The wind pushed the hair out of his eyes, and my thought she was imagining things when she saw that his scarred right eye was shown to be blood-red. She dismissed it when the wind slowly weakened and his hair covered his right eye once again. When the winds finally died down, Naruto stood as calm as ever while the crowd looked to him with fear, respect, and awe. Ozai felt that he was convinced, but he still felt like issuing one last test to the man. You truly have mastered your elemental affinities. However, I have one final test for you. And that would be? Questioned Naruto while narrowing his visible eye. This test is for you to show that you really hold the nine-tailed spirit within you. Legends say of you having the spirit sealed inside of you. Prove it, Ozai practically ordered. Naruto narrowed his eye further before he calmed down and chuckled humorously at the man. Don't say I didn't warn you earlier, Ozai, he stated before closing his eyes and calling upon the tiniest amount of Kyuubi's power. The air soon became heavy for the spectators, and they found it much harder to breathe. Naruto slowly raised his head to meet Ozai's gaze before opening his visible eye. Ozai was frozen in fear at the sight of the blood-red orb with the black slitted pupil. Visions of death, carnage, and destruction entered his mind, and he couldn't tear his gaze away from the blonde man. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, Naruto closed his eyes again, and the dense air lifted, allowing everyone to breathe easier again. Ozai released a breath he didn't know he was holding and slumped in his seat while gazing at the blonde man in front of him in slight fear. But that fear also came with a slight gleam in his eye. This man was the real deal, and if he could get him to help in the war, then the Fire Nation's victory was assured. Clearing his throat to both calm himself and get the crowd's attention, he declared, I believe you've proven your claims, Lord Uzumaki. People of the royal capital, I give you a revered hero of the flame. It was barely a second before the crowd cheered for the blonde and praised him while Naruto stood impassively during it all. He didn't do these tests to entertain these people, he did them to prove a point to Ozai. That point was, don't ever doubt Naruto Uzumaki. While the people kept cheering, Mai watched him calmly leave the arena and head back into the royal palace. She hurried after him in hopes of speaking to him right away. After all, she just saw her future teacher walk away, and she'd be damned to miss an opportunity like the one he offered. That's it for this reading. Hit like and subscribe for a free ticket pass going to the different worlds of anime fanfictions. Looking forward to having you on board again.